There is a slow, silent thief that creeps into the lives of millions of seniors. It doesn't break down your door or steal your wallet. It steals something far more precious. It steals your memories. It starts with a name you can't quite recall, a story you can't finish. Then it takes your car keys, your confidence, your connection to the world you built. This thief is cognitive decline, and its greatest accomplice is hiding in plain sight, on your dinner plate. As a neurologist, I have sat across from countless men and women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and confusion. They tell me, "Doctor, I don't understand. I eat healthy. I avoid the obvious junk." And when we dig into their daily diet, my heart sinks because I see it. I see the hidden poisons, the inflammatory triggers, and the brain-damaging compounds lurking in foods they believed were perfectly safe, or even good for them. The food industry has spent billions of dollars to make these foods convenient, affordable, and delicious. They have been engineered to be addictive and are often marketed with subtle health claims that are deeply misleading. They are the silent saboteurs of your brain health. Today we are turning on the lights. This is not another list of eat your broccoli. This is a critical intelligence briefing for your brain. I am going to expose the 9 worst foods that are scientifically linked to memory loss, brain fog, and an increased risk of dementia. We will go deep into the mechanisms of how they cause harm, and I will share real stories from my practice that will change the way you look at your grocery cart forever. This isn't about food fear, it's about food wisdom. And this knowledge is the most powerful tool you have to protect your mind. Before we unmask our first culprit, I urge you to subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications. The information we share here is designed to empower you through every stage of aging, and to help guide our content, please let me know if this video is valuable by typing a 1 in the comments, or a 0 if we can do better. Your voice matters deeply. 1. Processed deli meats, turkey, ham, bologna. The nitrate nightmare. Let's begin with one of the most common staples of a quick and easy lunch, the deli meat sandwich. Sliced turkey, ham, roast beef. It seems like a lean, high-protein, responsible choice compared to a burger and fries. But I am here to tell you that these convenient slices are a Trojan horse, delivering inflammatory compounds directly to your brain. The primary danger lies in the preservatives used to cure these meats and give them their long shelf life and appealing pink color. The main culprits are nitrates and nitrites. When you ingest these compounds, they can convert into highly reactive molecules called nitrosamines in your body. Nitrosamines are potent agents of oxidative stress. Think of oxidative stress as a form of biological rust. These nitrosamines get into your bloodstream, cross the blood-brain barrier, and essentially create rust inside your brain cells, damaging their DNA and membranes. This process is directly linked to the death of neurons, particularly in the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. But there's a second, equally damaging mechanism at play: advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are harmful compounds formed when proteins or fats are exposed to sugars and high-heat processing methods, like those used to cure and cook deli meats. These AGEs are like sticky, cellular glue. They attach themselves to tissues throughout the body, causing stiffness and inflammation. When they accumulate in the blood vessels of the brain, they make them rigid and brittle, impairing blood flow and dramatically increasing the risk of both small strokes and vascular dementia. I'll never forget a patient of mine, Mr. Frank Gable, a 76-year-old retired postal worker. Frank was a man of simple routines. For 40 years, his lunch had been a turkey and Swiss sandwich on wheat bread. He saw it as his reliable, healthy meal. But Frank came to me because his world was becoming confusing. He would get lost on his daily walk around his own neighborhood. He couldn't follow the plot of his favorite TV shows. His wife was worried he was in the early stages of Alzheimer's. We conducted a full workup. His brain scans showed signs of significant white matter damage, which is often caused by poor blood flow and chronic inflammation, hallmarks of vascular dementia. We also looked at his inflammatory markers, which were persistently high. Frank's daily sandwich, a habit he never questioned, was delivering a steady daily dose of nitrates and AGEs to his system. It wasn't a single event. It was the slow, cumulative damage of over 14,000 sandwiches that had stiffened the arteries feeding his brain and fueled the inflammation that was now clouding his mind. The solution we implemented was direct. We replaced the processed deli turkey with freshly cooked, sliced chicken breast he would prepare at home once a week. It was a small change to his routine, but a monumental change for his biology. Paired with other dietary changes, his cognitive decline slowed, and he reported moments of greater clarity. So my urgent advice is this: treat processed deli meats as the danger they are. They are not a health food. If you want a sandwich, roast a small chicken or turkey breast at the beginning of the week and slice it yourself. Avoid anything that is cured, smoked, or prepackaged in plastic. Your brain's blood vessels are far too precious to be gummed up by the convenient chemistry of the deli counter. And if the danger in your lunch meat is surprising, the next culprit is one you might be drinking every day, believing you are making the smart choice. 2. Diet sodas and artificial sweeteners, the gut-brain disruptor. For decades, we've been told that sugar is the enemy. So millions of health-conscious seniors trying to manage their weight or blood sugar made what they thought was the logical switch. They moved to diet sodas and foods sweetened with artificial substitutes like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin. They chose the zero-calorie option, feeling virtuous. But as a neurologist, I must warn you, you may have traded one problem for a different and potentially more insidious one that directly targets your brain. The damage from these artificial sweeteners is not about calories, it's about communication. The link is your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria in your digestive system that we now call the second brain. A healthy, diverse microbiome is essential for producing neurotransmitters, regulating inflammation, and maintaining a strong gut-brain axis. Artificial sweeteners are a wrecking ball to this delicate ecosystem. Studies have shown that non-caloric sweeteners like aspartame and sucralose can drastically alter the composition of your gut bacteria. They kill off beneficial species and allow more inflammatory, harmful species to proliferate. This state, called dysbiosis, creates two major problems for your brain. First, your gut stops producing enough feel-good neurotransmitters like serotonin, which can lead to mood swings and depression, both of which are linked to cognitive decline. Second, and more critically, an inflamed gut becomes a leaky gut. The tight junctions in your intestinal wall loosen, allowing bacterial toxins called lipopolysaccharides, LPS, to escape into your bloodstream. When these LPS toxins cross the blood-brain barrier, they trigger a massive inflammatory response from the brain's immune cells, the microglia. This neuroinflammation is now considered one of the primary drivers of Alzheimer's disease and other neurodegenerative conditions. You are, in essence, drinking a chemical that tells your gut to poison your brain. I had a patient, Mrs. Carol Prescott, 68, a retired nurse who was incredibly disciplined. She hadn't touched a sugary soda in 20 years. Instead, she drank 2 or 3 Diet Colas every day. It was her one treat. But she came to my office with a constellation of symptoms: debilitating brain fog, memory lapses, and a low-grade depression she couldn't shake. She felt like her brain was short-circuiting. We ran a comprehensive analysis of her gut health. Her microbiome was a wasteland. It showed a shocking lack of diversity and a high prevalence of inflammatory bacteria, a classic signature of long-term artificial sweetener use. We immediately put her on a protocol to eliminate all artificial sweeteners and begin healing her gut with probiotics, prebiotics, and whole foods. It was a long road, but after 6 months, she reported feeling like a different person. The fog began to lift, and her mood stabilized. She had to heal her second brain to rescue her first. My recommendation is to eliminate all artificial sweeteners from your diet. This includes diet sodas, sugar-free yogurts, and many so-called diabetic-friendly snacks. If you crave a sweet, bubbly drink, have a sparkling water with a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime. If you need a sweetener, a very small amount of a natural option like stevia or monk fruit is a far better choice. The water should always be your primary beverage. Do not sacrifice the health of your gut microbiome for a zero-calorie chemical cocktail. The long-term cost to your brain is simply not worth it. 3. White bread, white rice, and pasta, the naked carb catastrophe. This next category may seem obvious, but its danger is so profound and so pervasive that it must be addressed head-on. White bread, white rice, pasta, crackers, and breakfast bagels. These are what I call naked carbohydrates. They are highly processed grains that have been stripped of their fiber, bran, and nutrients, leaving behind nothing but pure refined starch. And for an aging brain, consuming these foods regularly is like throwing gasoline on an inflammatory fire. Their mechanism of damage is brutally simple and efficient. They are digested almost instantly into sugar. A slice of white bread or a bowl of white pasta has a sky-high glycemic index, meaning it causes your blood sugar to spike just as dramatically, if not more so, than eating table sugar with a spoon. As we've discussed, these repeated violent blood sugar surges are one of the primary drivers of neuroinflammation and cognitive decline. But it gets worse. This constant demand for insulin to manage the sugar spikes leads over time to insulin resistance, a condition where your body's cells stop responding to the hormone. Your brain is a massive consumer of glucose, but it needs insulin to properly utilize it. When your brain cells become insulin resistant, they begin to starve, even in a sea of available sugar. They can't get the fuel they need to function, create energy, and repair themselves. This state of brain energy starvation is so central to Alzheimer's that some scientists now refer to the disease as type 3 diabetes. Consider the story of Mr. Thomas Riley, 75. Like many of his generation, his diet was built on a foundation of simple starches. Toast with jam for breakfast, a sandwich on white bread for lunch, and pasta or potatoes with his dinner. He didn't eat a lot of sweets or desserts, so he thought he was doing okay. But his short-term memory was abysmal. He couldn't remember conversations he'd had just an hour earlier. He felt a constant draining fatigue that no amount of sleep could fix. His blood work showed he was profoundly insulin resistant. His brain was in effect starving. His daily diet of naked carbs was the cause. The solution was not to eliminate carbs, but to switch their form. We replaced his white bread with a dense, stone-ground sourdough, or a true 100% whole grain bread. We swapped the white pasta for smaller portions of chickpea or lentil pasta, and the white rice for quinoa or wild rice. These complex carbohydrates, with their fiber intact, are digested slowly. They provide a gentle, steady stream of fuel to the brain, rather than a destructive flood. The change in his energy levels and mental clarity was profound because we had finally given his brain the stable fuel it had been craving. My plea to you is this: banish the white, naked carbs from your kitchen. See them for what they are, pure sugar in disguise. Every time you choose a whole, fiber-rich carbohydrate over a refined one, you are making a direct deposit into your brain health bank account. So far, we've covered the dangers of processed meats, artificial sweeteners, and refined carbohydrates. These are the obvious villains. But the next food on our list is a beloved snack, often seen as a harmless treat for a movie night, but it contains hidden chemicals that have been directly linked to the pathology of Alzheimer's disease. Stay with me. 4. Microwave popcorn, the chemical inhalation threat. A warm bowl of microwave popcorn on a cozy evening feels like one of life's simple pleasures. It's a whole grain, it's high in fiber, and it seems so much healthier than a bag of potato chips. But the convenience of that microwavable bag comes at a terrible hidden cost to your brain. The danger is not the corn itself, but the toxic chemical cocktail used to line the bag and create that artificial butter flavor. The first chemical villain is diacetyl. This is the compound that gives microwave popcorn its rich, buttery taste and smell. While the FDA considers it safe to eat, the problem arises when it's heated. Diacetyl becomes volatile, and you inhale it in the steam that billows out when you open a fresh bag. Studies have shown that inhaled diacetyl can cross the blood-brain barrier and has been linked to an increase in beta amyloid plaques in the brain, the key pathological hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. It essentially helps to form the tangles that choke your neurons. The second danger is the bag itself. To prevent the oil from seeping through the paper, the bags are coated with perfluorinated compounds, PFCs, like PFOA and PFOS. These are forever chemicals that break down very slowly in the body and the environment. When heated, these chemicals can vaporize and get into your popcorn. PFCs are known endocrine disruptors, but they have also been linked to cancer and neurological damage. You are eating a snack that has been steamed in a chemical-lined bag. I remember a couple, the Hendersons, both in their late 70s. They were movie buffs, and their nightly ritual for over a decade was to share a bag of extra butter microwave popcorn. They both came to me within a year of each other, exhibiting early but distinct signs of cognitive decline, forgetfulness, confusion, and difficulty with planning. It was a tragic coincidence. While it's impossible to prove a direct cause, their long-term, high-level exposure to inhaled diacetyl and PFCs was a major and completely overlooked risk factor in their shared health history. The good news is that this is one of the easiest risks to eliminate. You do not have to give up popcorn. You just have to make it the old-fashioned way. Buy a bag of organic popcorn kernels. Put a tablespoon of coconut oil or avocado oil in a pot on the stove. Add the kernels, put the lid on, and wait for them to pop. Then, you can season it yourself with a little bit of melted grass-fed butter and sea salt. It's cheaper, it tastes infinitely better, and you completely eliminate the chemical exposure. This simple switch is a powerful act of brain protection. 5. Margarine and vegetable shortening. The trans fat terror. In the mid-20th century, a war was declared on butter. We were told it was full of artery-clogging saturated fat. The healthy alternative that flooded the market was margarine, made from hydrogenated vegetable oils. For decades, families spread it on their toast and used it for baking, believing they were protecting their hearts. We now know this was one of the most catastrophic mistakes in the history of nutrition. The process of hydrogenating vegetable oil creates a toxic man-made substance, industrial trans fats. Trans fats are a poison to your vascular system and your brain. Your body doesn't know how to process them properly. When you consume them, they get incorporated into your cell membranes. Healthy cell membranes are supposed to be fluid and flexible, allowing nutrients in and waste out. Trans fats are rigid and stiff. They are like replacing the flexible hinges on a door with rusty, bent ones. The door can no longer open and close properly. This makes your brain cells less efficient at communicating with each other and more vulnerable to damage. Furthermore, trans fats are profoundly inflammatory. They dramatically raise your bad LDL cholesterol, lower your good HDL cholesterol, and cause inflammation throughout your arteries, leading to the same stiffening and plaque buildup we've discussed. This direct assault on your vascular system is a primary cause of strokes and vascular dementia. While industrial trans fats have been officially banned in many places, they still lurk in many processed foods. Look for the words partially hydrogenated oil on the ingredient list of store-bought cookies, crackers, pastries, and especially in vegetable shortening and older sticks of margarine. I had a patient, Mrs. Peterson, an 84-year-old woman who loved to bake. She had been using the same brand of vegetable shortening for her famous pie crust for 60 years, a recipe passed down from her mother. She was suffering from severe vascular dementia. Her arteries were incredibly stiff. While many factors contributed, her lifetime consumption of a product made almost entirely of industrial trans fats was undoubtedly a major piece of that tragic puzzle. The solution here is simple and absolute. Eliminate anything containing partially hydrogenated oil from your diet. Throw out the margarine and shortening. Return to using stable, natural fats for cooking and baking. For spreading, use real grass-fed butter in moderation. For cooking, use stable fats like coconut oil, avocado oil, or ghee. Your brain cells are built from the fats you eat. Give them the healthy, natural materials they need, not a rigid, man-made poison. 6. Soy sauce and high-sodium processed sauces. The excitotoxin in sodium flood. A splash of soy sauce in a stir-fry or a drizzle of teriyaki glaze can make a meal delicious. These sauces are staples in many kitchens, but for the aging brain, they present a dangerous two-pronged attack: a massive sodium overload and a potential dose of a neurotoxic compound. Let's start with the sodium. A single tablespoon of conventional soy sauce can contain over 1,000 milligrams of sodium, nearly half of the recommended daily limit for an older adult. This huge, rapid influx of sodium causes your body to retain water to dilute it, which dramatically increases your blood volume. This forces your heart to work harder and drives up your blood pressure. Chronic high blood pressure is one of the single biggest risk factors for stroke and vascular dementia. It puts constant, damaging pressure on the delicate blood vessels in your brain, causing them to weaken and narrow over time. The second danger is monosodium glutamate, or MSG. While some soy sauces are naturally fermented, many cheaper mass-market brands use it as a flavor enhancer. Glutamate is an essential neurotransmitter in the brain, responsible for exciting your neurons and helping them fire. However, too much glutamate is toxic. It overexcites the brain cells to the point where they fire themselves to death. This process is called excitotoxicity and is implicated in many neurodegenerative diseases. While the amount of MSG in soy sauce is not enough to cause acute damage in most people, for a sensitive senior, a lifetime of low-level exposure can contribute to the gradual death of brain cells. I remember a patient, a 70-year-old man who loved Asian takeout. He would eat it 2 or 3 times a week, always dousing his food in extra soy sauce. He was diagnosed with hypertension that was difficult to control with medication, and he was developing significant cognitive impairment. His massive, regular sodium intake was a key driver of his high blood pressure, and the potential excitotoxin exposure wasn't helping his brain either. My advice is to take control of your sauces. If you use soy sauce, switch to a low-sodium, organic, traditionally fermented version or a coconut aminos alternative and use it very sparingly. Better yet, learn to make your own delicious, low-sodium sauces at home using fresh ingredients like ginger, garlic, herbs, and citrus juice. Protecting your brain means protecting it from the flood of sodium and chemicals hidden in your favorite condiments. We've covered a lot of ground, from processed meats to popcorn to soy sauce. The next 3 foods on our list are some of the most common comfort foods and healthy breakfast staples in the American diet. The betrayal here runs deep. Stay with me because this is critical. 7. Processed cheese slices. American cheese. The plastic food. The grilled cheese sandwich made with a slice of bright orange American cheese is a nostalgic comfort food for millions. It's what many of us grew up on. It melts perfectly, it's cheap, and it's easy. But I am here to tell you that this product is not actually cheese. It is a pasteurized processed cheese food product, and it is one of the worst things you can put in your body if you care about your brain. Real cheese is a fermented food made from milk, salt, and enzymes. American cheese, on the other hand, is a factory creation. It's made by melting down scraps of various cheeses and then adding a host of industrial ingredients, emulsifiers, preservatives, artificial colors, and extra salt. 2 of these additives are particularly concerning for brain health: emulsifying salts and phosphate additives. Emulsifying salts like sodium citrate or sodium phosphate are what give the cheese its unnatural, perfect melting quality. But these phosphate additives can have a damaging effect on your vascular system. High phosphate intake has been linked to vascular calcification, the hardening of your arteries, which, as we know, restricts blood flow to the brain. Furthermore, these cheese products are often made with low-quality, inflammatory vegetable oils and milk powders, not the healthy fats you would find in a piece of real, well-made cheese. You are essentially eating a slice of solidified, dyed, and chemically treated inflammatory fat. The patient story here is tragically common. It's the story of millions of seniors who rely on simple, cheap, and easy foods like a grilled cheese sandwich or a slice of American cheese on a cracker. It's a habit that seems harmless, but it contributes to the daily low-grade systemic inflammation that is a root cause of so many age-related diseases, including cognitive decline. The solution is to simply eat real cheese, in moderation. A slice of real cheddar, Swiss, or provolone from a block is a far superior choice. It contains healthy fats, protein, and beneficial probiotics from fermentation. It won't contain the industrial emulsifiers and phosphate additives. Yes, it's more expensive, and it doesn't melt in quite the same uniform, plastic-like way, but the health of your brain's arteries is worth it. Ditch the plastic cheese for good. 8. Heart-healthy breakfast cereals, the ultimate betrayal. This may be the most important and shocking point on this entire list. Walk down the cereal aisle and you will see dozens of boxes emblazoned with bright red hearts and bold claims. Heart healthy, can help lower cholesterol, a good source of whole grains. Many seniors trying to do the right thing for their hearts start their day with a bowl of Cheerios, Raisin Bran, or another healthy oat-based cereal. This is perhaps the greatest nutritional betrayal perpetrated on the public. These cereals are a disaster for your brain for one simple reason: sugar. Despite the health claims, many of these products are loaded with sugar. A single serving of some popular healthy cereals can contain 15 to 20 grams of sugar. That's 4 to 5 teaspoons. When you add milk, which has its own sugar, and maybe a banana, you are starting your day with a breakfast that has more sugar than a slice of cake. This massive sugar bolus first thing in the morning sends your blood sugar and insulin on a violent roller coaster that lasts all day. It sets you up for a mid-morning crash, which leads to more carb cravings, more brain fog, and locks you into a cycle of inflammation. Starting your day with a high-sugar meal is the single worst thing you can do for your brain's energy and stability. The whole grain claims are often misleading. The grains are typically pulverized into a fine flour and then extruded at high heat and pressure, destroying many of their nutrients and making the carbohydrates incredibly fast-absorbing, just like white bread. I had a patient, a 70-year-old woman, who was so proud that she ate a bowl of heart-healthy Honey Nut Cheerios every single morning. She thought she was preventing a heart attack, yet she was pre-diabetic, overweight, and suffering from terrible brain fog. She couldn't understand it. When I showed her the sugar content on the nutrition label and explained that she was essentially starting her day with a bowl of dessert, she broke down in tears. She felt betrayed by the very brands she had trusted. The solution is to completely rethink breakfast. Your brain needs protein and healthy fat in the morning to build neurotransmitters and provide stable, long-lasting energy. The best breakfast for your brain is something like 2 or 3 eggs cooked in butter or coconut oil, perhaps with a side of avocado or some sautéed spinach. If you enjoy oatmeal, choose plain, steel-cut oats, not the instant packets. Cook them yourself and add a scoop of protein powder, nuts, and seeds to balance the carbs. You must escape the cereal trap. The health claims on the front of the box are marketing, not medicine. 9. Commercially fried foods. The oxidized oil onslaught. Our final food is another one that might seem obvious, but its mechanism of damage is so profound it must be understood. This includes French fries, fried chicken, onion rings, and donuts from fast food restaurants or diners. The problem is not just that they are high in calories and fat, it's the type of fat and how it's been treated. Commercial deep fryers use cheap, industrial vegetable oils like soy, corn, or canola oil. These oils are high in inflammatory omega-6s and are very unstable when heated. To save money, restaurants often reuse this oil over and over again for hours or even days. With each heating cycle, the oil oxidizes more and more, becoming a toxic sludge of free radicals and harmful compounds like acrylamide, a known neurotoxin. When you eat these foods, you are ingesting a massive dose of oxidative stress. You are flooding your body with free radicals that your aging antioxidant systems simply cannot handle. These free radicals attack your brain cells, damage your DNA, and accelerate the aging process at a cellular level. It is a direct, full frontal assault on your brain. The story is that of anyone who relies on convenient fried foods. It's the story of a slow accumulation of cellular damage that leads to a brain that is aging far faster than its chronological years. If you enjoy fried foods, the only safe way to consume them is to make them yourself, at home, occasionally, using a stable, healthy fat. Frying something in high-quality coconut oil, tallow, or avocado oil in your own kitchen is a completely different biological experience than eating something from a commercial deep fryer. But even then, it should be a rare treat, not a regular habit. Final reflection: the power of your plate. We have journeyed through a minefield of hidden dangers: nitrates in our lunch meat, chemicals in our popcorn, sugar in our healthy cereal. It can feel overwhelming. It might feel like every food is a threat, but I urge you to see this not as a message of fear, but as one of ultimate empowerment. The knowledge you now possess is your shield. It allows you to see past the marketing claims on the box and understand the true biological impact of the food you eat. This perspective is not just my own. It is echoed by the world's leading health authorities. The World Health Organization, WHO, and the Alzheimer's Association, in their guidelines for preventing dementia and promoting healthy aging, consistently advise limiting or avoiding the very categories of foods we've discussed: processed meats, foods high in trans and saturated fats, and high sugar items like sugary drinks and refined grains. Their global, evidence-based recommendations confirm that steering clear of these foods is a cornerstone of protecting long-term cognitive health. You do not need a complicated diet or expensive exotic superfoods to protect your brain. You simply need to return to eating real, whole, unprocessed food. What does a brain-healthy plate look like? It's a piece of clean protein like wild-caught fish or grass-fed meat. It's a colorful array of low-sugar, fiber-rich vegetables, especially leafy greens and cruciferous ones. It's a source of healthy, natural fat like avocado, olive oil, or a small handful of fresh, properly stored nuts. It's a small portion of a slow-burning, complex carbohydrate if you choose to have one. That's it. It's simple. It's the way our ancestors ate. Every single time you choose one of these real foods over one of the 9 processed imposters we've discussed today, you are casting a powerful vote for your own future. You are choosing mental clarity over brain fog. You are choosing memory over forgetfulness. You are choosing to remain the vibrant, intelligent, and capable person you have always been. The power is not in a pill or a miracle cure. It has been on your plate all along. Now you have the wisdom to use it. I am deeply grateful for your time and attention today. Please share in the comments which of these 9 foods was the most shocking or surprising to you. Let me know this was valuable with a 1, or how I can improve with a 0. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.